The day right before she passed away, she texted me from her little apartment down in her bed. I'm in pain. Come downstairs. And I went downstairs and she was in pain. I had to take her to the hospital. And I have a picture of her still from 2 days before she passed, laying on the bed in the hospital with things, on her, wires connected to her. And she has a smile on her face. And someone the other day, I showed that picture too. And they said, I wonder if she was smiling because she knew she was going home. And that's why. And I said, you know what? It could be.
So we were 19 when she was born. We were young to have a baby. And we had sort of just wrapped our heads around that. And then Lisa was born, and this was 1977. So very different times than today. And in walks this doctor and very brusquely says to us, the baby's a mongoloid. A term that you don't hear anymore, an offensive term. He then proceeds to tell us all of the things that she won't do. And as we're numb, he looks at us and he says, you're young. Put her away. Move on with your lives.
Put her in an institution.
So I will tell you my experience. I'm standing at the window of this hospital, which we happen to be on the top floor, 5 or 6 floors up. And I am thinking, if I jump, this will all be over. When I hear a voice from the bed say to me, we're still going to love her, right? That was the moment. That was the moment at which God spoke through Lord. And we decided that we would do that, mostly her. And that's kind of what we did for 39 years.
Yeah.
And I won't tell you that the journey was always easy. It was not. But all I can tell you is, of course, life does not come with a rewind button, but we would not change a thing.
No.
Because what we would have missed would have been far more than what we paid, if you will. Lisa was, we call her our special angel. We also come to find out that she had a very serious heart condition, which in 1977 they could not easily fix. They couldn't fix it. But her life expectancy was only a few years, 5 years, maybe a few more than that.
Mm-hmm.
She lived 39 because once we accepted what God had for us, he showed up every day.
We had wonderful therapists, wonderful teachers. We had a nurse that would come to the house and me being so young, I just looked at Lisa as, this is a baby. This is a baby that God gave us. And I'm going to treat her like a baby. She's one of God's creation. And Lisa just brought so much joy. There were so many joyful times that, quote unquote, normal parents take for granted. We didn't. Every little thing that Lisa did, we thought was, wow, Lisa could do this. They said she wouldn't speak. They said she wouldn't walk. She wouldn't talk. She's going through in our life. And that wasn't the case for us.
She talked. Oh boy, did she talk.
Speech was her specialty.
It was her strength.
Right, her strength. She learned to speak when she was 2, and you could understand her very clearly. She spoke at her graduation in front of 2,000 people. Got a standing ovation and her picture in the paper. Lisa was compassion. Lisa was love. I could yell at her for being naughty, and 2 seconds later, she'd be there to give me a hug if I got hurt. She just taught me more about God, because I used to say, if angels came down, I swear they would all be Down syndrome people, because they only know love and compassion and forgiveness. You know, she was my best friend. Craig worked, and we decided the best thing was for me to stay home and help Lisa be the best she could be. We did everything together. She was my joy. She was my absolute joy. She would hug me. I miss her hugs. I miss her hugs more than anything. But yes.
We just chose to love her, and she flourished. And without a doubt, the vast majority of the credit for that goes to her mom, who just poured into her. But we met all of these people who just had just a heart for our daughter. And she touched lives. I can't even tell you how many people, because we lost count. And they still, Lisa's been in heaven now for...
It's coming up on April 23rd, will be 7 years.
7 years.
We lost her.
And we still have comments about her over and over again. That graduation speech that Lori mentioned, the thing that I always remember is the valedictorian followed Lisa, and we felt so sorry for her. And it was, she stole the show.
Yes, she did.
Yeah.
Yes, she did.
And she did that. She really stole the show in our lives too.
She was very strong-willed, and she wanted to give a speech. She watched all these shows on TV and saw people giving speeches. She says, I want to give a speech. I want to say something. And she went up to her teacher, who again was wonderful. And the teacher went to the principal, and the principal said, let Lisa write something. I will read it. And if I think it's, fine, we will let her speak. And Craig's sister helped her write it, and it was wonderful. It was wonderful. And she was so proud, very proud. She would always walk so confident, like the world she knew everybody loved her,
The superintendent of schools summed it up at the end when he spoke to the class, and he said, you just remember in life when somebody tells you you can't, Lisa says you can.
Right. When Lisa was 25, she told us, hey, I'm 25. I think I'll be moving on out. And I looked at her and I said, you are not going anywhere, young lady. I said, you have health issues. You got to stay close to mom so I could help you. And I said, Daddy and I will make an appointment for you downstairs. And that's what we did. And she would, are you eating with us tonight, Lisa? Nah, I got my own thing going on.
Well, first she'd ask what we were having.
Yeah, that's true. She would. And my laundry room was downstairs, and I went down after she had the apartment, and I said to her, I got to do my laundry. She says, it's in my apartment. I should really charge you money for that. I'm like, it's my washer and dryer. But she was so funny. She had her little greeting card business that Craig helped her establish, Special Angel Cards. And she sold them because we were doing a fundraiser at church. I think it was this month. It was in February. And
Valentine's Day.
Yeah. And she raised like 500, everybody loved Lisa. $1 for this card. No, Lisa, I think it's worth at least 5 or 10. And she raised $500 for the church, and she was glad to do it. She was happy. She just wanted to make cards and make people, that's all she wanted to do, is spread happiness to people. Yeah. I could talk about Lisa forever. Anytime Lisa was in the hospital, we would have the nurses come in all the time because she won them over with her sweet personality.
At our church, she was just so taken in and loved.
The pastor created a job for her at the nursery school. It was wonderful. The kids loved her. The teachers loved her. We're still in touch with the teachers. We still have Lisa's page on Facebook, and people still post on that.
I think the people she affected the most was our families. Her grandparents, they had many grandchildren, but they always favored her the most. Not that unusual, but none of her cousins had a problem with that at all. They knew Lisa, they knew that she deserved extra attention. They got it from them. She got it from them too. But, there was no jealousy of her. She had tremendous impact on her younger sister, Amanda, who really functioned through most of her life as Lisa's older sister. She was the most protective person of Lisa you can imagine. But Amanda just loved her sister so much. She gave a speech at Lisa's funeral that there was not a dry eye in the house. And it focused on the fact that, what an example of life she was. She never knew how long her life was going to be, and she was not going to be cheated. She loved Disney. I don't know how many times we took her there. Every time she was in the hospital, she would negotiate with me for a trip to Disney when she got out.
But I think Mrs. Rafferty, our neighbor who lost her husband, Lisa befriended her and would make cards for her. And she'd ask me, can we take Mrs. Rafferty out to lunch? And can we go see Mrs. Rafferty? So Lisa was nice to anyone, whoever, it's not one person in particular, whoever was hurting at that moment. Lisa had a sense and would go over and just give that person a hug or rub their hand. She just was very intuitive to people's feelings. And 99% of everyone loved Lisa because she was just kind. She was just, who doesn't want to see a kind person?
For me, the person that she most won over was my father. My father was kind of gruff, and he had plans for me. And when Lisa was born, he was, what's this going to be? And within weeks, if not months, she was his favorite. Every Saturday morning, he would call her on the phone. When are you coming to visit?
Like I said, Lisa was stubborn and she was strong-willed. So she was on a mission. So she was gonna, you don't like me? I'll make sure you do. And it always worked at school, no matter where she went, in a store. Well, her favorite thing was to, like Craig said, compliment people. She'd look at, like, if she was to look at you, she'd say, "You're so handsome. What are you, 16?" And I'm like, Lisa. But she always had such a kind word for everyone. And she was smart on her phone. The day right before she passed away, she texted me from her little apartment down in her bed. "I'm in pain. Come downstairs." And I went downstairs and she was in pain. I had to take her to the hospital. And I have a picture of her still from 2 days before she passed, laying on the bed in the hospital with things, on her, wires connected to her. And she has a smile on her face. And someone the other day, I showed that picture too. And they said, "I wonder if she was smiling because she knew she was going home. And that's why." And I said, you know what? It could be. It really could be.
Lord, as her caretaker, it's a big job. And Lori did that, as I say, for 39 years. And most of it was just amazing. But she did have an experience a few years before Lisa died, where the stress on Lori was palpable. It was showing, and we were trying to figure out how to deal with that, what was going on. And Lisa had a health incident where she had a seizure. She had a seizure, and she was taken in an ambulance to the hospital, and Lori rode in the back of the ambulance. And tell the rest of the story. Well,
I was in the ambulance. Lisa called out my mom's name. Well, my mom had been dead for years at that point. And so when we got to the hospital and they stabilized Lisa, probably the next day, I said, "Lisa, do you remember being in the ambulance and calling out Nanny's name? And she said, yes. And I said, did you see Nanny? And she said, yes, I saw heaven. And I said, you did? And she said, yes. And I said, well, what did it look like? And she said, Mommy, it had the most beautiful colors I've ever seen. You don't see colors like that here. It was so beautiful, flowers and trees, just absolutely beautiful. And she said, and tell Amanda the baby, Amanda is her sister. She says, tell Amanda the baby she lost was a girl, and she's in heaven with Nanny right now. Nanny's taking care of her. Now, Lisa had an IQ of 41, but she did not make that story up. And see, Lisa taught me more about heaven. I felt closer to God when I was with Lisa, because she was demonstrating what Jesus was like. And I feel like I've lost that a little bit because she's not here to keep me on the straight and narrow path.
We know two things for absolute certain. God is good and God's in control. And his timing is perfect. Wouldn't have been what we wanted, but we were promised 5 years and we got 39. There was a lot of praying that went into that, I'll tell you.
But she was love, kindness, and forgiveness.
But since she's passed, we've had opportunity to speak with others going through. I said we wouldn't change a thing. We would change her health, obviously. We would, but would we, if we could go back and have her not be Down syndrome?
No.
Wouldn't change
Down
that.
syndrome, yes, no.
Wouldn't change that, because we would have missed way too much.
Yes. Do you see Jedediah, Misty's son? Have you seen him in videos or anything?
Yes.
I mean, he is just a doll. I will go out of my way in a store to find a parent and just say, hi, I'm Lori, and introduce myself to their child, because
She actually will end up begging for a hug.
yes, I used to.
Mind if I hug your child?
Can I have a hug? Because that's what I missed. I missed that hug from Lisa so much.
Yeah.
I will see her again.
Yes.
Hey, sing your ABCs now. Sing your ABCs. What's your name? What's your name? Brody.
I did. So I had, I hate to say it now, but I had all those fearful thoughts of what our life could possibly look like if, our kid had, possible a lot of health issues and everything, and, all the hopes and dreams you have for your kid if they would go to college and all this stuff. And looking back now on, how we are today and what I've learned about Down syndrome and everything, that was, very foolish of me to think that way. But as I've been talking to other families, that's pretty much like the stages that pretty much everyone has gone through. You go through those stages of grieving, and then you realize, like, we don't put limits on him, and he can do whatever he wants to and puts his mind to, and he's done so much in his almost 5 little years of life than I've done in my 41, and he amazes us every day. Brody goes to a Montessori school.
Ladybug, we're gonna put the glue here.
And he's thriving. He absolutely loves it. This will be his 3rd year there. They treat him just like any other kiddo. And he has so many friends there. The older kids love him, love to come up, give him hugs. He gives the best hugs ever. They play with him. He learns from them. And him attending a school with all neurotypical kiddos not only benefits Brody, but it benefits them as well, because they can see that, yes, Brody might be a little different, but they're just alike, just like you and I, and just treat them the same.
Stage. Where do you want that stage? Right here?
He does a lot of therapies. He does equine therapy, and he also does another special type of therapy called DMI, Dynamic Movement Intervention.
You gonna show him where to go? Let's go. Let's go do it.
And this type of modality of therapy is becoming more popular among occupational therapists and physical therapists to get certified in it. It works really well for kiddos with cerebral palsy, hypotonia, and it just gets them just to fire their muscles all over their body, build new neuro pathways in their brain.
Switch legs, ready? 3, 2, 1.
It just helps them accomplish so much more and a lot faster.
Therapy approaches, a lot of times when you teach a kid to walk, you're like guiding them by holding them by their hand, but in DMI they're doing all distal progression, so they're holding like waist, right, which means like they have to control their trunk. They hold below the knee. Now I have to control like my knees, my hips, my trunk, and if you hold at the ankle, then we're like controlling everything from there up. So I love working with Brody. Spicy but great. We always have a good time. He makes me work. But he's come so far. Oh, you're welcome. I'll see you next week, okay?
Bye.
Give him a kiss.
Kiss me.
Give Daddy a kiss.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. When I first received the news of potential Down syndrome, it really didn't affect me too much. I don't know if I want to say it hit me, but I just had kind of faith to know that even though that was a potential outcome of our son, that it wasn't going to affect him or affect our relationship. So it was more so helping my wife to kind of see the silver lining that even though he may have Down syndrome, everything's going to work out. There's a plan in the end, and everything that has a plan will work out.
And she says, there's a 90% chance of your baby having Down syndrome. Me being a nurse, it scared me because I was just fearful. The only thing I knew about Down syndrome is the possible medical problems that they could have and that could arise. So that put fear in me, and I went through all the stages of grief and denial. My husband took it very well. He was very supportive. He said, God gave us Brody. He knew what he was doing, which is very true. He'll be fine. He'll be perfect. We prayed over him every night during our pregnancy.
Seeing how he interacts and watching him, he's just a complete blessing, and kind of teaches me how to be more human and be more loving and kind to people. We were given a packet kind of from a local group, and my wife didn't really want to look at it, didn't even want to think about it, just take it out of her head. So we didn't we were still hoping that he didn't have Down syndrome because it's kind of a chance that he did. So, but I kept that packet, kept it at my office, and then, once she was ready to kind of do some research into it, that's when I brought it home and started looking at it.
At the time, I was still in denial, going through stages of grief and everything, and I told my husband to actually throw it away, and I'm glad that he didn't. He hid it from me somewhere that I couldn't find, and then when I came to him ready to look at the resource and learn more about Down syndrome than what I just knew from a nursing standpoint, he gave it to me, and it was very, very resourceful. And then that's when I started researching more about Down syndrome and the local what's out there in the community for support, because support is everything. And that's how I really got involved with Friends. I took over the organization that actually gave me that packet, resourceful packet. I am now the executive director and president of it. I got the city of Tampa to illuminate blue and yellow, which is the awareness colors for Down syndrome. I spoke in front of Pasco County commissioners, and they declared March 21st World Down Syndrome Day, and they lit up blue and yellow their historic bridge in Pasco County. So on that day, we had a gathering in downtown Tampa at Old City Hall, and there was about 100 of us there. We had a couple news stations come down as well to report on it, so it just spreads more awareness within our community. Some people might be fearful to approach or don't know how to approach someone with Down syndrome or special needs. And, we want to try to change that. They live life in the moment, and he's taught me to live life in the moment. He's so empathetic too, very empathetic. He doesn't like to see anybody upset at school. If one of his friends are crying, he'll go over and he'll put his arm around them and do a little tap on their shoulder or give them a hug. He is very empathetic. Every life is worthy. And you guys going around the country doing this is amazing, because the world needs to know. How amazing everyone is, no matter what their ability,
And so we did the testing, and they called us back. I think it was 7 days. They're like, yeah, he definitely has it. But we're still like, no, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. You know what I mean? Because you don't want to believe that. Your pregnancy, we traveled the world. We had a great life, and we still do. But we were, that couple. We were in a big city. We did our thing. And then we were just older parents, and we're like, everything's going to be fine. Everything works out for us. You know what I mean? And it does still, but we were just in our own space. He was born November 2022 when we had him, and we looked at him. I was like, oh yeah. he has it. And Mike was like, yeah. And immediately I had fear. I was like, oh, what am I gonna do with this baby? Because I just had a baby, so I was like, oh, I have another baby. Babies are fine. But I now have a special baby. So I was just like, oh, okay. So immediately it was fear. And then as the months grew on, and your baby is your baby first before their diagnosis. They're just a person, but you have to learn that. No one can tell you that. I remember posting on social media, my husband and I found out our baby has, gonna have Down syndrome, and everyone was sending me videos of cute babies with Down syndrome. I'm like, don't send me that. That's not my baby. Don't send me no video of Down. I don't care. Down syndrome people are so happy. I don't care. You don't want to hear it. But because you have to go through all the emotions. You mourn the loss of what you think your baby is gonna be, the future. You think, oh my gosh.
From an ego point of view, okay, he's my son. So everybody wants their son to be, this representation of them. And, you want to play ball with him, you want to do all these things with him. And that would have been great, I'm not saying it wouldn't have been, but there is a certain kind of detachment that you should have, meaning listen, this is the kid, this is how he showed up, this is who I'm going to raise and love. Do you understand what I mean? I'm sure it could be damaging to a lot of men are sad, or they could just reject it, no, I can't. You know what I mean? Oh, come on. And maybe I got to leave the wife. I got to go have another kid with another woman, so I want a healthy son. You know what I mean? There's a lot of responses that you can go through, Or you can just say, well, listen, he's here, he's healthy, let's do it, Because if you don't, you're always going to be wondering, what happened to him? Or could I have made a difference in his life? You know what I mean? Am I a coward for running from this? So you don't really want to, that's probably a bigger burden to carry than you would expect,
But they're like, okay, you're, a geriatric pregnancy. When you have a baby over 35, yeah, it's pretty harsh. But like you said, you don't think it's gonna happen to you, but they're like, we need to, because of your age, any mom over 35, they run extra tests on you to make sure your baby is gonna be healthy, because there's higher risk because you're older. So they're like, we need to run some blood work, and then we'll get back to you in a week to let you know if anything came back on not normal. And they called me probably, I think it was the day before our gender reveal, and they were like, we found something in your blood that looks like your baby could have an extra chromosome. We need to do further testing. And we had our gender reveal. And so I feel like I couldn't be happy at our gender reveal. It was the very next day because I got this in the back of my mind. And we didn't really announce it to the family then. So we have our gender reveal to find out if we're having a boy or a girl. But inside, I'm just like not as excited as I should be because something could be wrong with my baby, you know what I mean? So I'm just like, oh my gosh, you know what I mean? And so I was holding in, Mike was holding it in, trying to put smiles on and act like it was all good. A week after that, we go and get further testing. And some women choose not to do it because your baby can miscarriage. Because what they do is they take a needle and they stick it inside your pregnant belly and they take some of your amniotic fluid out and they can test it over, you know, to see if there's anything wrong with your baby. Like I said, when I first saw him, there was fear. And then as the months grew on, I was just like, he's just like a normal baby. He laughs, he smiles, he poops, you know what I mean? He doesn't want to get dressed. I want this kid to grow up with love. I want him to grow up feeling like, yes, I'm different, but I'm fine. And so, just sharing our story it's been kind of therapeutic because we get feedback from people and they're just like, oh, Savoy's so cute. He just lights up my world. I'm like, really? So it's great to share our story and let people see that your baby is your baby. They're not aliens. It's nothing to be afraid of. It's okay to be scared at first because it's a fear of the unknown. Like, we don't know what we're dealing with. You know what I mean? We don't know. And so, like I said, my whole pregnancy, I was in denial until I saw him. And then I was like, okay. And then at my age, I feel like this is whatever lesson that I need to learn, I'm going to learn it and I'm going to make me a better person, make me whoever I need to be. But I feel like Savoy has healed me. He's humbled me. He's great. He's great. Sorry. He's the best thing that happened to my family. And you feel bad because in the beginning you don't want that baby. You want your baby to be perfect. And yes, he has an extra chromosome, but he's still perfect. He's full of personality. Daddy on the bus, I love you.
Me and my father were, talking. He was there and we were playing with him and he was trying to watch TV. And then we were talking and then he just looked at me like it's like he broke character. He was just looking at me. I said, I see you. You know what I mean? So he has these moments and he's just like, yeah, I'm here. Like you can see his consciousness, so it's interesting. It's very interesting to observe.
I think I just want people to know that they're just like us. They just have a little extra, and the extra is really good. If you dive into it, I am sad sometimes because I have people that inbox me that have children that have Down syndrome, and they're like, "How are you so positive? And how are you?" Like they're still in the mourning phase, and their kid is like 3, and I'm just like, your kid can feel your energy. I had to shift my whole energy while I was pregnant. Like, you know what? Whatever happens, we're gonna work it out. This is gonna be great. I would sing to him, he would move, he would let me know that it was fine. And so my dreams went from, because I would have dreams that he was fine, then the dream went to he's not fine. It was like my emotions were going back and forth. And then as I started to talk to him and communicate with him, the dreams were more pleasant. It was just like, I'm fine, we're fine. So it just I think you have to make the best of your situation and make the best for your child. Every parent wants to make the best for their child. You got to get over your feelings, put your big girl panties on, and just make it happen because you want them to feel loved. You want them to feel accepted, and you want the best for them. So a good attitude is what you need for anything in life. I get lots of messages on social media of women in other countries, in Kenya and Nigeria, and even all over where if your baby isn't considered perfect and they don't have all the right chromosomes and all in XYZ, then they want you to abort the baby. And so they don't have resources, they don't have therapies, they don't have early intervention programs, they don't have anything to set your baby up for success, because they're like, we told you not to have that baby. So they're looking on social media. The same thing I did when I got pregnant. I was looking on social media looking for, looking for somebody like me. And I felt like everyone was telling their story, but I feel like everyone was like, oh, it's great, and the baby's lovely, and they're so cute. And I'm like, no, give me the everyday. Like, what are you doing every day? Let me see the therapies. Let me see, the doctor's appointments. I feel like people were just, and everyone documents what they're comfortable with. So that's why I try to be very transparent on my page, showing, oh, Savoy took his first steps. Oh, now he's sitting up. Oh, this is what we're working on now. These are all goals for this month, because I think it gives people a realistic, like, this is what your life is going to look like. I have a couple of friends now that have Down syndrome toddlers, and they joined a support group when they were pregnant. Finding a pediatrician that is familiar with your baby's case, like some pediatricians see Down syndrome people all the time. Some of them don't. And his first pediatrician, like, they just didn't have that many cases of Down syndrome infants. And there's all this extra screening. They have to get a thyroid test. They have to make sure they can hear well. There's vision. There's all these extra tests that you don't know about as a new parent. And if you're a pediatrician, they know some, but that's not their specialty. So if you do your research on your pediatrician to see how familiar they are with your case. I think I'm just a little bit more patient. I think I'm just like, I'm okay if things don't go the way that I thought they were gonna go. Like I just kind of flow with life. I think before I was just like, this is my schedule, and on Monday I'm gonna do XYZ, and on Tuesday I'm gonna do ABC. And it's like, no, I have 2 toddlers. Like, I don't even know if I'm gonna brush my teeth today. Like, Lord Jesus. But I think that's part of parenthood too, regardless of special needs or not. But it's like, kids, you kind of see some of your best qualities in them, and some of your qualities that you want to work on. Like, oh great, that's where that comes from. That's what my mom had to deal with. But we want to travel, and we want them to see the world, and we want them to learn from life experiences, not like reading books and like, this is what you do, and this is you go to school and then you graduate and you go to college, which you can. I did all that. But I want my kids to have that sense of self younger, so that can carry them through life. So maybe it'll be a little easier for them. Mila is a great big sister. I was worried about that, because I was like, I have this typical kid, and now I'm gonna have a special needs kid. Like, what is that gonna do for her life? You know what I mean? And I think it's enhanced her life so much. She's so helpful. She's like, when she goes and she does gymnastics or preschool, she's like helping the teacher all the time. And I think because she's used to helping me, she has more compassion. She's so sweet and nurturing. And so I just think it's just going to make her a great individual. Like, it's what you worry about, because you're like, am I going to give my child a burden? Do you know what I mean? That's what you fear. Like, you want her to be individual, him to be an individual. But the way Savoy's going, he's right on track he'll be fine. And when he hears her, his eyes light up and he smiles. He is so excited to see her. She's like this crazy energy, and he's not sure what to do with it, but he's just like, let me play with her too. Sometimes I feel like she gets a little jealous of him. Sometimes he gets a little jealous of her. Like, if she's crying and I'm like, Mila, it's okay. Savoy's looking like, what? You my mama. Like, why are you doing that? And so I can see that, but it's like, Savoy, it's Mila's turn. Like, she has to get some attention. She has to get some love. So it's just fun to see the dynamic. Both of them, we want them to feel loved and feel like, mommy and daddy has our back. And I think that we're doing that. For any expecting parent that's worrying about the dynamics, it actually makes your kid kinder, softer. You know what I mean? She looks at all kids, all colors, all shapes and sizes as like people. Whether you have a special needs kid or not, introducing your kids to people that are different is a beautiful gift, because they're kinder and they understand everyone's not like me, and that's fine. Too many people grow up with only people that look like them in their neighborhood, only friends that look like them. And it's like, no, that's not what real life is like. You know what I mean? So I think if it's something you're worried about, it's actually a beautiful gift for them. But it's just nice to see their love. It's like, it's a gift.
I was looking through the window of the NICU nursery or whatever, and like just bawling because I wanted to see my brother so bad. And I just remember that, and I had to wear a mask and everything. And so from that beginning, like, you know, that was the start of my experience with Jesse, and he's the happiest of everyone. He complains hardly at all. Just in general, like, he brings so much joy to our family.
We have a beautiful dress.
Yeah. Isn't that
It is beautiful.
Thank you.
Look at her.
Oh.
Look at her.
You're so sweet. Yeah, we're best friends, aren't we? Yeah. Are you excited?
Yeah. Fun day.
Jesse's big, what did we call it?
Fun day.
Jesse's fun day.
Yep.
Yeah, we're gonna have a party.
Yep.
Those two are like two little peas in a pod. They have that special bond. They Skype every Saturday when Stephanie's in Atlanta. And he just really looks forward to that. And he misses it this summer. Even though he gets to see her, he can't wait to Skype with her again. So.
Oh, I love you.
Aww.
He always gives me kisses. We're best buds, aren't we? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so Jesse, how about you tell us what your favorite things to do at the lake are?
Boat ride?
Boat ride?
Dance a boat?
Oh, what kind of music do we listen to?
Cheeseburger of fries?
Cheeseburger in Paradise.
Paradise! Paradise!
Gnarly, man.
Jesse's surfing.
5 o'clock somewhere.
Whoa! Picking up the phone.
His foot phone.
Yeah.
You're less flexible than me, aren't you?
Oh, no!
Da, 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 da,
I guess I didn't ever have to question that she would accept him and that it would be a good bond, because it was right away. And one thing that was so cute is we had one of those little Tykes cars, and so we'd put Jessie beside her. You know, it's not very wide, so Jessie would be sitting on a seat, Stephanie would be sitting there, and they'd be cruising around in that little car, and they'd wave, and it's just the cutest thing ever.
You know, it's interesting because life with Jesse was just so normal. It was never, like, I knew in my mind that things were different, right? Like, it took him longer to walk, these different things, but other than that, like, it was so normal that it didn't sink in totally, I think, until I was more of an adult and looking back on my life and realizing, oh my gosh, what a blessing to have Jesse.
Jessie was born, and then the doctor said, oh, I think we have a problem here. And I thought she meant with me. And she said, I think he has Down syndrome. And I just remember saying, oh no, oh no. And I know God was helping me, because just right away I accepted it. And I was a little scared because I didn't know that much about it, because not having really firsthand experience or even really knowing anybody with Down syndrome, I didn't really know what that all meant.
Do you like having Down syndrome?
Yep.
What about having Down syndrome makes you so special?
Happy?
Yeah, you're happy. What else?
The boys that make me happy.
The who makes you happy?
Georgia boys.
Georgia boys. Who's that?
These two.
Oh, yeah!
We paid him $10 to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How cool is that? You're
Yeah.
awesome. Jesse, you make friends quickly, don't you?
Yep.
Yep. Mm-hmm. We're gonna have fun today.
How are we going to kick off the super fun day?
A good morning music.
What are we gonna do while we have the good morning music?
Mm.
Morning!
Yeah.
Any diagnosis of a baby can be scary for parents and families, and it is I understand the scary part because we're fearful of the unknown. Yet when you know what it's like to have someone with Down syndrome, it's the greatest gift. I've literally said, and my mom would, if you asked her, she would say, oh yeah, Stephanie has prayed for a baby with Down syndrome, which sounds crazy, but it's true. That having a child with Down syndrome is truly just such a gift, and because of that, I want other people to know. Like, I want them to see it by extension of Jesse, and by extension of, I guess, our relationship.
What?
Really good, Jess. How did you learn to color so good?
Jesus?
Jesus taught you?
Yeah.
How did he teach you?
Yeah.
Oh, because he gave you all the skills to do it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I believe it, Jess. Jesus gave you lots of skills.
He fell asleep. Oh no.
Yes. Are you sleeping?
Jesse, you fell asleep for a second.
That's really neat.
What?
See, exactly. Like, that's why, like, if you were to make it in...
Funny, right?
We waited a little longer. We waited like 3 years, and then we had another son. So there was 3 years between Jesse and Skylar. They kind of developed as twins almost when they were little. We had 2 cribs in the same room, and they'd get where they could stand in them, and they'd talk, blah, blah, whatever, back and forth. And when Jesse was able to start kind of learning to walk, he had a little walker that he would hang on to, and that was the cutest thing. I mean, he had that in school. And he had it was actually a little backpack, but it looked like a huge backpack on him. And it was so cute. He'd have this backpack on and be in that little walker going through the hallways in school. And when he learned to actually walk without that, it was because of Skylar.
And he would sometimes take Jesse's walker and walk around the house and stuff. And one day we were at my grandparents' and
Skylar had just started to walk. And he was walking between us. And then Jesse, we stood him up, and he walked between us.
We were totally surprised, and he was 4 years old, and we were told it could be a while for him to walk. And I mean, we were just so proud.
She has been so proud of Jesse, and she told me when he was a baby, she goes, I didn't know anything. I mean, I didn't know he had Down syndrome. I just loved him. He was just my little brother.
Because of Jesse and who he is and how much light and love and everything he brings to our lives, I was just so excited and proud to show him to my friends, and I really wanted my friends to, like him. And I didn't have to do anything. Like, I just introduced him, like, oh, Jesse's so amazing. And he just, everybody loves Jesse.
The teachers have told me that Jesse changed his whole class. That class had become more compassionate, more accepting, more loving. I never had thought about it that way. I just thought they're good kids. He got in with some good kids, but he actually helped form those good kids without knowing it.
He went to prom with one of his best friends, who, by the way, I just learned that she's the president of the board of the local Gigi's chapter. She mentions her relationship with Jesse. That was a big reason that inspired her to become involved with Gigi's. He learned to read and write. He graduated high school with the rest of his class. He was the manager of the varsity basketball team of his friends of his class for 2 years.
He'd pat him on the back when they got off the bench and tell him good job, and they just accepted him and loved that. And Jesse's always been a supporter of people.
Jackson, you're good making a movie.
Oh, thank you.
And he's always happy for you when you do something good, have some success, or if you're having a bad time, and pat you on the back, give you a hug. He's a real hugger, I suppose. You've probably discovered that maybe, but he loves to hug, and he's just very loving. Loves people, loves everybody.
I love you, Jackson.
I love you, dude.
Yep. Water ball?
Water bottle?
No, a game.
Oh, ladder ball. Yes. Okay, we're going to have to show him how we do that too.
Yeah.
Are you going to beat me? I'm going to try to beat you.
Why?
Because
it's a game.
It's a game, exactly. That's why I want to try to beat you. Are you going to beat me?
Nope, it's a game.
You're going to let me win? Oh, we're both going to win.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You're good sports.
Yeah, we're going to be good sports. You're right. Because you're sweet. I love you too. But you're still doing wonderful.
Oh!
Hey, wow!
I love it.
Good job.
It's fun, video.
I know. It is fun, I bet.
Yeah! Dude! Dude! You did it!
Jesse has this other sense about him, and my dad says the same thing. He will know if something's wrong. No one else knows. You're not showing it. I don't know how he knows.
Are you concerned about people when they get hurt?
Not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you send people extra love?
Prayers.
Prayers. Yeah. Yeah, Jesse, that's one thing too. Jesse never lets us forget to pray before we eat together, right?
Yeah.
He's always reminding us to pray. And he prays for us. One time I had our little baby boy, he's 8 months old now, and I asked Jesse to babysit him. And so he was playing on the ground in the living room, and I peeked in, and Jesse was on his hands and knees praying over Liam.
Yeah.
And asking God to help him sleep well that night, because he didn't sleep well the night before. And that night he only woke up one time.
Jesse, what do you think of Liam?
Cute. I don't hold him. It is.
Yeah, you're really good at that too. Jesse's very good at holding him.
I love Liam. I love you. We love you.
Yeah.
And nose.
Jesse does that. He does that to us too when he's trying to love us. He goes like this.
Yeah.
My parents always talk about I had to grow up really quickly. He was born when I was 2 years old, and they had to spend more time with him. And they sometimes talk about it in a sense that, like, oh, too bad you missed out. But I always tell them, like, I did not miss out. Like, I gained so much more from growing up with Jesse than I ever would have gained from just, having more time with my parents or whatever it might be. So what if I had to pick out my own clothes or whatever it might have been? Like, his love has brought out our love in our family. He's made our family so much more tighter and close-knit. He's kind of the glue, if you will.
Stephanie and Sam, Sam is right on board, feels the same way she does. And they've already said, someday, like when Steve and I cannot take care of Jesse anymore, they would like to have him live with them. And wow, Sam said that like right after they're married. It's like, wow. And is that a big deal to us? And so that just shows the love and the bond that they have. It's not like an intrusion. It's like, welcome, be part of us,
What else do you love to do at the lake? What do we do?
The foot floppers.
Oh, the foot floppers. Are you going to show them how you do that today?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
I used to go really crazy too.
That is talent. That is so talented.
Thank you.
It's something Jesse came up with many years ago when we were trying to get him to swim, and he didn't want to swim.
One more.
One more.
Yep.
Magical.
Oh, now the others.
Mm-hmm. There. All right, we did it.
I definitely feel as an adult he molded my life and really my trajectory of what I would go on to do. He has so much light. I want that to reflect for other people to see it. It's led me to start a podcast called the Love Light Stories Podcast, where people share their own personal stories of walking through a difficult place and coming out on the other side. But also, for me, it's purpose-filled, because I feel like that's part of my purpose as well, is to, in addition to the podcasts, just trying to do more things with Jesse and living life and loving each other. And do you want me to tell you what I love about you most?
Yeah.
I love how happy you are, how much fun we have together, all of the love, all of your hugs and kisses. Who's your best friend?
You.
Oh!
That's right. That would be my answer too, Jess. We're lucky, aren't we? Oh, thank you.
Jesus loves us.
That's sweet. Is that what you want people to know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You a big John?
Big John.
You?
I don't know.
David did. Hey, David.
Yeah.
You a big John?
I'm a big John.
You are?
Yeah.
Why?
Big John. Big fat John.
The big fat John. Call it a wrap, Jackson.
Okay, all right. Call it a wrap.
I always say I wouldn't change him if I could, but I will change the world because of him. You know, I think people that don't live this life are like, well, really, if you had the choice of Down syndrome or not. And it's like, it's a part of him, but like, it's just brought that extra chromosome, have brought extra people. Now, has it brought extra things? Yeah, but it's also given us a greater appreciation for things we would have taken for granted. And that's where you're just like, what is life about? You know, it's about being amongst each other and learning from each other and growing together and ultimately fulfilling the purpose God created for each of our lives. What I truly believe is that we were created for a life of service, of serving each other. The population of people with Down syndrome may need more support than someone else, but that's what we're called to do. We've reached babies in 49 countries in all 50 states with the desire that every baby uniquely created with Down syndrome would be welcomed.
It went from my storage at my house to this is our inventory that is bursting, but like now we have better baskets than we used to have. We are kind of outgrowing this space, but with things and people, which is a great problem to have.
Yes, it is.
So I'll probably go back to when I was pregnant with Jack. He is our second of 3 kids. I had to have an emergency C-section with him. His heart rate had dropped. And while I was in recovery, my husband was waiting for them to bring him for the delivery. And a nurse practitioner walked in carrying our new baby, and she said, "Are you aware of trisomy 21?" And he must have looked confused, and she continued saying, well, Down syndrome. She listed all the characteristics that Jack was showing and said, well, just enjoy your baby, and left the room. And my husband, trisomy 21 isn't language we use in our everyday language. He hadn't had much experience with anyone with Down syndrome at that point in his life. And so he honestly was just kind of questioning what would he live, what this meant. And then he had the responsibility of sharing that news with me when I came back from recovery. And so I reflect back on that. One, I wish we would have been together. I wish that we would have received a congratulations. We had just given birth to our baby, and he deserved that, and we deserved that. And I always reflect back that one of our nurses, her name's Diane, came in and she said, look at your precious baby. And when I feared that the world wouldn't accept my son because he's different, and now we were navigating and just questioning, am I strong enough to do this? And how is this gonna affect just how we do life? She reminded us that he is a gift and he is a baby first, and he is fearfully and wonderfully made. And he is going to define who he is, not this diagnosis. We just kept meeting more and more families that the way their diagnosis was given, it was given not in a way to honor the life of a new baby. And it broke my heart every time. And I was still just grieving what I had thought our lives were going to look like in regards to not grieving my son, but just grieving like, I've got my life planned out, and Down syndrome wasn't a part of that. And I always say I'm so glad that I was wrong. Like, I would have missed a whole new perspective of seeing people, because I feel like allow generalizations or labels or diagnoses to just fog our ability to see people. I say in the 11 years of Jack's life, I've learned a little bit about Down syndrome, and I've learned a lot about Jack. And that's what's been like the common thread of connecting with other parents that say, I love my child. I just wish we lived in a world that was more accepting of them. Really, as we got close to Jack's first birthday, I was like, this is a way, let's go back and give hope to a new family by writing a letter telling us all the ways that we had like learned from him and grown in that first year. And I saw my friends in healthcare that didn't know where to send these new families, yet it wasn't a new diagnosis in 2014. I mean, this has been, a medical genetic condition that they discovered, and for many years by that time Jack had come around, that it was like, we have to do something. And that was in 2014 really the birth of Jack's Basket.
Because we've grown and our expenses of like people and all of that, it's like we have groups that come in, assemble the baskets, and then they head out the door to either a volunteer or to a family.
Here is a congrats card. Dear parents, congratulations on your new baby. This precious child will change you for the better. We celebrate with you. Love, Daniel. Every time I would hear a new diagnosis story and be just shocked by what was said, it just continued to ignite more passion to say, this has got to change. We can, in a sense, intercept with hope sooner. Because again, it is a life-changing diagnosis. It is different than what most have planned. So however you respond to it, there's no judgment in that, but that experience of you accepting a new journey shouldn't be impacted by the bias of someone else. But that is where I say the hardest part of having a child with Down syndrome is not my child having Down syndrome, it's navigating a world that's not accepting of him. That's what has to change. It's this question of like, why are we so scared of Down syndrome? And you're just like, there's a lot of things historically that have played into it, but when you've been impacted by somebody with this diagnosis, it's hard not to say it like, I wish everybody had a friend with Down syndrome. Yeah. I would speak on this mission every day for the rest of my life because it's important and it's worthy work and our babies are worthy of this. I feel like the world is receptive, yet it's uncomfortable, difficult conversations that need to be brought to light, because as we claim that we're accepting of everyone, really it's based off of a certain criteria, which is led out of what can you do for me? And so when you're working with a population of people with different abilities, might be on a different pace than you would prefer, or it may be situations that bring humility, but do we have a posture of learning from everyone? And are you willing to grow in that?
Go ahead, buddy. Can you try to walk? Okay.
When you get this diagnosis as a parent, you're oftentimes like, how is this going to change me or our immediate family? And to see the impact of my child on other people and helping it bring out their heart of, if it's service or like their personality, of just like a caring, it's just been such a joy to see the impact of him, not just on us, but on classrooms and communities. And obviously it's the world, with him reminding that every life is a gift, but like it's also brought us back to every person is a gift, right? And we all have something we can offer each other. We are God's masterpiece, created in His image to do great things. I've known that my whole life, and I needed Jack to help me reflect on that and then share that with the world. He's not a mistake. He's not a burden. He is a gift to all of us, just like all of our lives can be. And do we see that? You know, Jack is 11 now, and my husband Chris and I kind of have adopted this theory of like, why not Jack? Until Jack shows us he needs extra support or he needs whatever it is, we're gonna raise him so he can meet his best potential. When I think about the classmates, you know, everybody's always like, oh, Jack is gonna learn so much from them. It's like them learning from him. He can be elbow to elbow working on a completely different, you know, he's on counting and his friends in class are on multiplication, and that's okay. I just asked his teacher of like, what did he bring to your classroom? His teacher had just said the joy that he came every day helped us see how do we show up in that classroom every day. And that, you know, respect of learning or like understanding people learn differently, and that's not a bad thing.
And I'm a mother of a 48-year-old daughter with Down syndrome. 48 years ago, we were told we could take the baby home or leave her at the hospital. She won't live long. We took our daughter home. Our daughter has the personality and sense of humor that brings much joy to our family and friends. Thank you for all you do to celebrate the birth of babies. All babies need to be celebrated. And I think of Jane, who I had met, and she's 101. And her son, Bob, when she said 9 different providers were like, don't take him home. And this was back in the late 40s. And she's like, you know what? My husband and I looked at each other and we said, a little bit of love and a lot of common sense, we can do this. And I think we all could use a little more of that. And actually a lot of love and a lot of common sense, put those together, and Bob was just story after story of his impact. So, but we hear that every day.
Just yesterday, I had been on a volunteer call where we hear those diagnosis experiences, and it was a prenatal one. Really, that parent felt as if she had no other options because her abortion was scheduled for the next day at 1 o'clock. So it's like, she gets the news, we're gonna take care of this. This is what you should expect to come back tomorrow afternoon. And so you think about it, if our society already has a negative narrative around the diagnosis, and then you are presented this news with no other information or a trusted provider to give this to you, are we surprised that the population is decreasing? And that's the part that is just stating the facts. I mean, my own heart behind that, I have many feelings on, but it's impacting our community, it's impacting our world, and every person that we know with Down syndrome deserves better than that. We're hopeful that every provider would be equipped, every family would feel congratulated, and every baby with Down syndrome would be welcomed and celebrated like they deserve to be. It was back in 2018, I delivered the 1,000th basket, and I asked the family, and they received the prenatal diagnosis. And so we're referred, they were from more of a rural area, came to the Twin Cities to a maternal fetal medicine clinic, and the doctor came in, sat down, and said, I'm sorry, your hopes and dreams are over because your baby has Down syndrome. And it was that moment that I was like, continue to hear that who are we to make an assumption about whose life will make us better, or like, just like who gets to say that? And we're also walking into these situations assuming that, like, I think of my friend Lauren, who's a volunteer for us in Pennsylvania, that when she delivered her son Hayden, who has Down syndrome, everybody was sad and silent in the room, and she's like, what are you all sad for? My sister has Down syndrome. We got this. And so that's where you have to tell those stories so that it's like, well, yeah, why are we all sad? Do we personally know the impact? Because if you know the impact, your first response would be, congratulations. Jack is a gift. He loves musicals and theater. Honestly, he would love to be in a movie someday. Those are the funny things that you're like, I can't tell you that I would have watched Sound of Music about 6 times a week, or Shrek the Musical. And then he tells funny stories that I was like, Jack, we're not in your imaginary world right now that you are Shrek. Because somebody walked past our house yesterday and he's like, get out of our swamp. And I was like, you are not Shrek. And so now he's 11 and he's growing up and his personality is so fun. He does love attention. But those are when the sweetest moments happen, is when he's one-on-one. And I see you can, I'm like less distracted with a lot of other stuff going on, but just to have just one-on-one time. And those are the moments where I truly cherish them, and then I get a chance to see his impact on other people, wherever we are. And that's what I believe the world is hopefully moving towards, of just like, there's Jack. He has a name. He's not just one of those people. It's a joy that I wish more people got to experience. And that's why I can confidently tell a new parent, this is the best gift you didn't know you needed in your life. And he has allowed us to see every person uniquely created with a purpose to do incredible things. And do we see that in everyone? And Jack has truly made our lives better.
Enjoy Armenia.
Enjoy Armenia.
Well, I'm excited to go to this beautiful trip, and I can't wait to see and help the kids find their favorite family someday.
I have the great honor of being a parent of 2 children with Down syndrome. I have a biological son with Down syndrome, Joaquin, and then we adopted Sophia with Down syndrome. And I wanted to adopt another child with Down syndrome because of the love and the light and the joy that I was experiencing with my son. And I couldn't imagine a child without a family not feeling or having the experience of a loving family.
But I'm excited that I'm here, and I hope you watch it.
Yes.
I love you.
Love you. Rod
We have been going on advocacy trips for a number of years now, and we found that these are by far the most beneficial and best ways to be able to advocate for children in need of families. And Armenia came about almost a year ago to the day.
Not only do we get to find kids to advocate for, but it's always a good opportunity to strengthen relationships with government leaders, with adoption agencies, and every time we go, we just find like this amazing network of people that all have the same desire to help these kids.
Oh my, je t'aime.
What? Oh my gosh. She's saying je t'aime. Je t'aime. I love you.
Yeah.
Yes, je t'aime. Je t'aime.
Je t'aime.
We need to learn what that is in Armenian, right?
Well, Down syndrome is one part who I am, but I am not scared that I have a disability in me, because some kids have Down syndrome or does not have Down syndrome, but it's okay. Everyone can be different, and they can all be loved.
This trip is unlike any other that we've done before. It's a trip where we are going to be spending a lot of time with families that have a loved one that has a disability, that have been raising that child in a community that oftentimes has reservations about raising children that have disabilities. And so I'm really excited to spend time with families that have a loved one that has a disability. We'll be spending time with adults that have Down syndrome, that are working full-time, that are contributing members to society. And it's just going to be really fun to be able to hear their story and to get to know them just in a world away from what we've been, living in our life.
Oh, mwah. Do you like working at the bakery?
Yes.
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 I'm serving. You like to serve, to be with people.
I
can make coffee and tea, but I love serving. I'm Tigran Ohi, the director of Arekak Foundation and the Arekak Center. Arekak Center is the center for children and youth with disabilities from the age of 2 to 18 and above the 18 years old. We are all the same and we have one sky. There is one sky, we live under the same sky and sun shines to all of us. Inclusion means that we accept abilities, we accept different abilities. I am accepting the way you are. I am accepting the way you are born and your abilities. And we help each other to reach our potential. Each one of us is not disabled yet. And we will face these challenges. And at the time in our lives, we will face it at some point, ourselves or with our relatives. And this is why it's important, the inclusive word. This is why it's important to be mindful towards each other.
What do you want to tell
about your family and our family? I love my family. This is the great family. When I come here, I'm really happy. I love you so much. Happy birthday, so my happy birthday will be as soon as my birthday. Edward. Edward, my friend, will come to my home on my birthday. He invited them to come to his birthday that they celebrate at home. We are very close with friends. We are very attached to each other with friends. And then the next day we will bring the cake to Aregak to celebrate my birthday at Aregak as well.
Yeah, give me muscles. Thanks for letting me take your picture.
Yeah.
Good job.
Good job.
Individuals are the same across the globe. Whether there's a language barrier, whether people can't communicate with their voices, that we are all human and we're all the same and have the same spirit inside of us. And whether you're in Africa or Armenia or across the United States, we all just want to be loved and heard and connected with, and that's what I'm trying to do.
3, 2, 1, blast off!
No hands.
How's Armenia been?
Well, Armenia is fun for me because I like meeting new friends and people.
Yeah.
And I like a lot of the kids with Down syndrome and like see how they're different.
Yeah.
Like the little boy.
The little boy from last night. Do you remember his name?
Monty.
Yeah, I hope we get to see him again.
Yeah.
It'll be so fun when
We're going to see him at his house on Wednesday.
Yes.
Oh. Yes, Monty. Oh my goodness. That's a lot of food. I thought I could eat it all.
What do you want to say to Monte if he's watching this?
Monte, I want you to know that you are a good friend in Armenia, and maybe you can meet my brother someday. Here in Armenia, you have nice sisters, you have a nice mom and dad, you have a nice dog, you have an amazing family ahead of you. You have a great future. You're amazing and outgoing. That's why I love Monte.
Well,
Well, I would definitely say having brothers with Down syndrome has set a big example for me. And so like my brother Nash, he's the one that's 17. He's like my closest sibling. I love him so much. He just treats everyone with so much love and so much care. And my brother Cooper, he's just unafraid of anything. He's so brave and he's always putting himself out there. And so I would say they're my biggest examples of just being genuine and authentic to who you are.
Down syndrome is a big part of our life, but it's only one part. There's so much else to celebrate.
One cell.
It's just one part of you. Yeah. It's in every cell of your body, but it is just one part of you. And what we try to say, there's so much to every human being, and I just think that the Down syndrome part of you is just the most special part, right?
And because they can learn from their purpose.
Oh, you have special purpose. Yes, you have special purpose.
Because everyone can be special and unique.
Everyone is special.
In a different way.
Yes.
I have 7 adopted siblings, and my family has been so blessed by it. Every adoption brings something to my family that we didn't know we needed, and it's like gaps you didn't even realize were there were filled. So I would say just do it. Like if you feel the tiny urge to do it, explore that and see if it really is right for you.
Coop was adopted from China, and all international adoptions are formally closed now from China. Those kids that are in those orphanages there don't have the opportunity to be able to be adopted, and that weighs on me a lot, because the thought of Cooper there and not being able to share that light like he is right now, that's a very sad thing. And so as we go to Armenia now, and I'm just already trying to prepare myself emotionally. I know that we're going to meet 34 children that have Down syndrome that are in an orphanage, and that's a hope that I have, is that we'll be able to help them to have that family, so that they too, like Coop, can sing that song they're meant to sing.
I've never been to an orphanage. I certainly haven't been to an orphanage with children with Down syndrome. To be able to see firsthand and make that connection is going to be really, really powerful. I've already been anticipating some of the emotions that might come up for me as a mom of a child with Down syndrome.
We will meet children that right now are living in an orphanage. They don't have a family. And if a family doesn't answer the call to adopt them, they will stay institutionalized for their entire life. To be able to have that child then be adopted, and then be able to be raised in a loving family, and even more importantly, be able to share that light and that joy with their family, their community, with their nation, that makes it all worthwhile.
Something that I've really been grappling with is knowing how loved Jed is in my arms and in my home, and then seeing children like Jed, just as beloved, just as worthy, without a home, without a parent to comfort them in the way that I would comfort Jed. It wrecked me. It really wrecked me, and it continues to wreck me. It's like not going away. I think at the time I was just soaking it all in, and I was trying, it almost felt like when you know something's going to end and you just think, what can I say and what can I do that will make the most of this time? And so that's how I felt with that little boy. I just felt like, I don't care that he doesn't know a word I'm speaking. I'm just going to like pour this over him and pray that some of it sticks in the way that I'm speaking to him, and my face and my body language and all of that, that he's just so loved. And I just wanted him to feel, I wanted him to feel a mother's tenderness towards him. And so that's what I was focusing on. So now when I look at those pictures, I just hope that's what was left with him,
Some kids are sometimes sadly don't have parents that they want because they just need parents to come and help them and give them home, give them freedom, give them hope, and give them a loving family. But I was an orphan in Ukraine. I wanted a mom, I wanted a dad, I wanted pets, I wanted brothers, I want a school, I want friends, I want neighbors. And guess what? They came and helped me. So bravery gave me a family, but fear made me an orphan. But that's why I found out my family chose me. And I chose them right back. And that's why we love each other as a family.
That's so good. Thank you for watching this story. My dad and I are so happy that we get to do this, and it all started when we began the journey to make a movie inspired by our friend Jay, who has Down syndrome. The movie is called Made with Love. As we work on raising the money to shoot the film, we've met incredible people in the Down syndrome community whose stories have inspired us. This story is brought to you by Rod's Heroes and Made with Love. At Rod's Heroes, we believe every child with Down syndrome holds a superpower the world needs, but too many are still waiting to be seen, chosen, and celebrated. We're on a mission to change that. Families ready to open their hearts to adoption often face steep costs that prevent them from being able to adopt. But Rod's Heroes is here to help. In order to help these 34 children find their forever family, we are seeking to raise $102,000 to help make their dream a reality. Your donation matters. If this story moved you, don't let it stop there. Click the link in our description or bio and be a part of the change. Help bring a child home by donating today.